At a pivotal summit held amidst heightened global tensions, the BRICS bloc comprising Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa issued a joint declaration on Sunday that sharply criticized the rise in global trade barriers and condemned recent military escalations targeting Iran. While the statement stopped short of naming specific countries or leaders, its timing and language suggested an indirect rebuke of US President Donald Trump, and his administration's policies. The declaration expressed serious concerns over the growing use of tariffs, which the group argued were inconsistent with the rules of the World Trade Organization, according to BRICS. Such measures not only erodes the multilateral trading system but also threatens to reduce global trade volumes, disrupt global supply chains, and introduce economic uncertainty. The wording appeared to reference recent tariff hikes imposed by the United States, which Trump has defended as necessary tools for protecting American industries and countering what he calls unfair trade practices. In addition to trade, the BRICS leaders voiced alarm over rising tensions in the Middle East, particularly condemning military actions directed at Iran. Though their declaration did not specify the actors involved, their criticisms is widely viewed as a response to US-backed airstrikes and Israeli operations that have escalated in the regions in recent months. The group also denounced Israel's ongoing military campaign in Gaza and other occupied Palestinian territories, underscoring a broader concern about regional instability. Notably, the BRICS statement avoided any condemnation of its own member, Russia, a founding BRICS nation and a central player in the ongoing war in Ukraine. It was shielded from criticisms. The conflict in Ukraine, which has led to tens and thousands of casualties and massive displacement, was only mentioned once in passing, underscoring the group's reluctance to alienate Moscow Russian President Vladimir Putin. He addressed the summit via a video conference, continuing his pattern of virtual diplomacy as he remains largely confined to Russia due to an outstanding international arrest warrant issued by the International Criminal Court over alleged war crimes in Ukraine. China's President Xi Jinping was also absent, marking the first time since 2012 that he has missed a BRICS summit. While the Chinese government did not provide a detailed explanation, analysts speculate that domestic political considerations and geopolitical reverberations may have played a role. His absence alongside Putin's virtual appearance cast a shadow over the unity of the bloc, raising questions about the cohesion and long-term direction of BRICS. Despite the apparent disunity, the group attempted to project a united front on global economic governance. In addition to trade grievances, the declaration repeated calls for reforming Western-dominated institutions like the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank, arguing for a more inclusive system that better reflects the interests of emerging economies. The summit, hosted by Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, comes at a time of intensifying debate over the role of the BRICS bloc in a rapidly changing world order. Lula, who has positioned himself as a vocal advocate for the Global South, opened the summit by criticizing what he described as disproportionate investment in militarization by Western powers, specifically citing NATO's decision to increase military spending by 5% of GDPs annually through 2035. It is always easier to invest in war than in peace, Lula remarked. Interesting. The choice to avoid directly naming the United States or President Trump appears to be a strategic decision by BRICS members, particularly Brazil and India, who seek to balance their participation in the bloc with strong economic ties to Washington. Trump, meanwhile, has threatened retaliatory action, including a 10% tariff on countries he accuses of aligning with anti-American, that's BRICS policies. He has also floated the possibility of 100% tariffs if the group moves forward with efforts to establish an alternative to the US dollar in international trade. While calls for de-dollarization and the development of independent payment systems were floated during earlier BRICS summits, particularly by Russia and China, This year's meeting took a more cautious approach, likely due to concerns over provoking further U.S. retaliation. The group focused on more neutral themes such as promoting intra-BRICS trade, global health cooperation, and sustainable development. Still, the BRICS tone made it clear that BRICS is increasingly positioning itself as a counterweight to Western-dominated global structures, albeit a cautious and divided one. The question is, are they afraid? Oh well, only time will tell. When we come back right after the break, we'll take a look at the foreign scene where Trump is slamming Elon Musk's new political party.